Hello, everybody. Welcome back for more Disco Elysium. In our last stream, we finally radioed in about our badge. Finally got the tie off of the ceiling fan in our room. And we got into a discussion about advanced race theory with the Measurehead, the Union man who is not letting anyone through to the docks. Won't let us through either unless we think a little bit about his stuff. But since we tore down that wall to Kuno's secret hideout, we apparently have an alternate way into the docks. So we can check that out and see if we can get to this Everard Clare without having to deal with the Sumerian supremacist and racist Measurehead. Who are you?
Welcome to Revachol,
Announces the rotund man. The remark isn't addressed to you, it's addressed to the lieutenant. Why are you addressing my partner like that? Hey, I know Revachol. That's where we are. Yeah, why are you addressing Kim like he's never been to Revachol?
Don't you welcome to Revachol me. My grandfather came here from a 3,000-year-old racist isolationist culture, while your ancestors came to this island a mere 300 years ago. Every school of thought and government has failed in the city, but I love it nonetheless. It belongs to me as much as it belongs to you.
What's happening? You sound angry, Kim. He's dealing with racism. That's what's happening. We're not dumb. We know what to expect there. Hello, Audio Boy. Thank you for tuning in and joining us tonight.
It's men like you who keep Revachol divided, making it that much harder for everyone to climb out of this post-war limbo.
What he means is, fixation on the Revacholian nation makes it harder for Revachol to actually attain self-determination.
He's right. You're undermining our best shot at real self-determination. Stop ripping into this guy. He's just really proud to be Revacholian. Oh, I'm not playing a nationalist. So we are in limbo.
Come on, man. I just said welcome to Revachol. It's a lorry driver thing.
Sure it is, Frenchie.
I know exactly
Is that
what you
racist?
meant. You think my kind doesn't belong here, that I should watch myself and behave.
Can you even be racist against French people when you're already white? The answer to these questions and many others are maybe.
But you see,
Probably
I'm an
not,
officer
though.
of the RCN. It's actually my job to make sure you behave. I would advise you to remember that.
Now it's Kim's turn to, pull the law card.
Silence. The air between them becomes tense. Your partner needs backup. Now's your moment to shine.
Fucking A, Kim, I've got your back. Give the lieutenant a punch on the shoulder. Well, I think we all learned something here today. Smile at the lorryman. And now that that's settled, we've a couple of questions. You know what? I'm gonna show the lieutenant some real camaraderie here.
You do make a cute couple. You know that?
So if they aren't being racist to us, they're calling us a bunch of gays.
The lieutenant exhales and resumes his regular calmness.
And now that that's settled, we have a couple of questions.
Whatever you say, officers.
Oh, because the mug has a racist depiction, so I can show it to him just like I could show it to the Measurehead dude. What are you hauling?
Oh, not much anymore. I'm here to pick up some cargo, but the dock workers are on strike, so it's a sit and wait on your ass situation.
Wait, how long has this strike been going on then?
The strike? Oh, they've been at it for a while. A month, 2 months maybe.
Whoa.
But this here is just the last week or so.
All these lorries in just the last week, huh? Well, what kind of cargo are you supposed to pick up then?
Apples.
Apples is exactly the kind of thing you'd say if you had something to hide.
Yeah, it is. Apples?
Yeah, apples. I take it you had other questions?
Wonder if I go back down that tree, can I?
Not much anymore. I'm here to pick up some apples.
Apples is exactly the kind of thing you'd say
Yep.
if you had something to hide.
Okay, sure. Let's try it.
Look, as detective, I come from a long line of lorrymen. We got ancient rights and privileges.
He loses his patience for explaining it. So some kind of trucker code then.
Oh, I'm here to pick up a load of fucking apples, man. Just regular, picked apples.
Damn, you're not gonna get more out of him on this. He's put up the wall of racism.
Found this mug in the trash. Yours?
Oh man, that's great. Look at that guy go. Haven't seen anything that funny in a while.
So is it yours?
God damn. Thanks for that, but no, it's not mine.
Well, you said something about the rights and privileges of lorrymen. What's that about?
Oh yeah, they're a big deal. My great-grandfather was a carter, had a royal license and everything. We've tried to hold on to our privileges.
Hold on. It's a carter.
Someone with a cart. What did you think it was? That's how deep into history our thing reaches. Before machines.
And that's a privilege?
Sure fucking is. We have a guild and everything, huh? Very ancient. Very prestigious.
So it's kind of union.
Hell no. It's a guild. Invitation only. Unions work for the rich fucks. They're basically the same. Been trying to fuck us out of our heritage in the name of profit, but you can't replace experience. Trusting street thugs with their goods is going to fuck them right up the ass. Mark my words. Generations of practice and no laughing matter.
Alright, we're done for now. Alright. Where am I experience-wise again? 35 of 100, huh? We still need to do that autopsy as well. Alright. This book has a rose, a pistol, and a half-naked dame on its cover. I have been in this bookshop when I was testing this out before I started the stream. This bookshop is pretty much the only thing I've done previous to this current stream that was done off stream. So after I go in there and talk to the owner, like, it's all 100% blind from here on in. I have no clue of what's coming or what the hell to do. On the cover stands a very muscular man surrounded by flames. The book is titled The Man from Helmdall and the Wild Fire. This book is about pate. This book, you don't really understand what it is about, nor does it seem important. A book about Boadiero culture. It promotes freedom and roaming upstream. A book about the future. The government reads your mind using radio technology.
Hello, sir. Step right in. The store is open.
So, you know, I might as well just do the last thing that I have done before, which I know I'm not going to be able to do fully, because I know you can barge into the shop owner's secret room, because I did because off stream I was playing a dumb as fuck hyper sensitive meathead, so really was not very successful with much, but I could force my way into anywhere. Which was kind of fun. This guy is pretty much the opposite with an endurance, with a physique of 2. But anyway, I am the law.
I know, sir.
She stomps her feet to feel warmer.
Are you interested in a new and exciting book?
What kind of store is this anyway? A bookstore?
It's a bookstore, sir.
Yeah.
We sell books, postcards, and some board games. It's called Crime, Romance, and Biographies of Famous People.
So it says on the window.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold your horses, little girl.
What is a book? What's a postcard? What's a board game? How is that a failure? I personally know what all these things are. Being a friggin' nerd streaming video games that are basically interactive novels on Twitch, I should know what all of these are. So, but, you know, I don't expect him to be that clueless, so.
You're fooling nobody.
Don't you sass me! Encyclopedia, just because you failed.
Sir, are you okay? You've been standing here silently for a while now.
Actually, I will say, like, going back thinking about the other character I had, the one skill I miss going off every now and then is Shivers. Because that was just really cool. I might actually skill that up. Just because it would make sense for a cop to be in tune with the city. Especially as he gets less amnesiac. Anyway. Is it okay if I ask you some questions, little girl?
Okay, sir. I'll try to answer any questions you have. I hope they're about books.
Well, the first one isn't. What is your name?
My name is Annette, sir. My mum, her name is Plaisance. She owns the store. She's inside minding the register or organising the stock.
Girl gazes at the window and then suddenly jolts, her eyes wide as if recalling something.
Feel free to step in and browse our wares.
And you're standing out here in the cold because...
I'm signalling that the store is open. Otherwise, people might not know. They'd miss out on the crime, romance, and biographies of famous people.
The name of your store is very explanatory of what kind of store you have. I should have a word with the store owner, maybe? Such a good trooper that you're already learning about the value of hard work. Pat her head. Oh my god. I could help by brutally dismantling the free market. Well, I did say that I was hoping that it was the rule of the proletariat, but I may be mistaken. So he could really want to liberate the proletariat. That is definitely the capitalist response, and that would be probably a fairly centrist or neoliberal. I don't know. Anyway, since I already been talking about the proletariat, what the fuck, why not?
Thank you, sir. I'm glad to help Mum out with the store.
She doesn't seem to understand what you said. Don't think we care if she should be at school. She's helping her mom with their business. What is this crime business?
Crime fiction is about murders or burglaries or things like that, and the work of a policeman or a private detective who's trying to solve a crime and catch the criminals.
Wait, not crime fiction? I need to know what crime is? I actually don't remember this part of the conversation, though I do remember talking to her. I don't think I did this, but like that... No, that's just dumb. Why would anyone want to read about crime? Okay, got it. Crime murder. Gets people going. Yeah, that is typical cop response. We'll go with
And
that.
it's kind of like a puzzle, too. You can guess who the criminal is or how the good guys are going to catch him.
I'm a policeman myself, by the way. The law, as I said. And yes, every time he says, I am the law, I am going to do the worst Sylvester Stallone impersonation you've ever heard.
You don't look much like a policeman.
She examines you as if to find something policeman-like. Huh, well, what does a cop look like then? Or, okay, then maybe I'm not a policeman, or should stop being one. Nah, I like the first response better.
Didn't mean to offend, sir. Sorry, sir. It's just that you don't look like Dick Mullen.
She points to the cover of the book on which you see a strapping Vespertine officer. He stands grimly over the body of a dead woman. I used to be exactly like that Mullen guy when I decided to live a little. You know, nobody actually looks like the guy in that picture. That's just a stupid fantasy of a man. It's not your body that's important in police work anyway. It's your... points to your head. It's true, however, his head is fucking gone. In certain ways. Wow, look at that guy. I'll never be as good as Dick Mullen. Nah. Well, according to my ledger, I used to be a super cop, and then I did decide to live a little. So, you know, just being honest.
What's that mean?
You know, cut loose, raise hell, blow off steam, lose my gun after pretending to use it to kill myself as a joke in front of a bunch of frightened bar patrons.
And everything's better now, sir?
Sure.
Great, sir.
She smiles enthusiastically. You know, nobody actually... Okay, yeah.
More about books, maybe?
No. I think we're done. And I don't think I'm actually going to go into the bookstore right now. I'll do that later. I should talk to Kuno a little bit more before we begin this autopsy.
Fuck does Kuno care?
The boy turns to you. He doesn't care. Yeah, I talked to Manana about the armor. Thanks for the wild goose chase, little punk.
So?
He raises an eyebrow, projecting aggressive indifference. Told me you promised to sick the pigs on him. Said thank you. Wasn't too keen on chasing down that armor anyway. You said you're now the king of the entire Jamrock?
Fuck, okay. Kuno's a giver like that, yes?
Looks slightly confused. Good, I threw him off his game.
Kuno sent your fat ass running around like jello.
Look, Pig.
I really should have
Kuno
shot her.
sent you to rough some people up. Kuno played you. That happened. Now you and Kuno should move on.
Whatever, kid.
What is this? Trying to be cool with your new asshole? Kuno was just being nice to you. You got fucked bad. Now limp the fuck out of here. After this shit, you better have something real interesting to say if you want to stay in Kuno's face.
Yeah, real interesting.
Let's talk about your shack again. I can't remember if I,
The fuck do you want with it? That's where Kuno gets his daily hit of electric. Kuno Shazam.
Of course.
Kuno rides the fucking lightning in there, Pig.
Bet you'd like to ride the lightning too, wouldn't you? You feel tired and old, but you could have that sparkle in your eyes.
Good
Yeah.
call, Pigmeister. Don't come and talk to Kuno about his kingdom. Kuno doesn't fucking care.
We know. We know. Believe us, we know. Ooh. Wrong button. Da-da-da. Why is my ledger gone? Oh, because it's now in tools.
It's just a racist mug. What's there to read here? Not much.
There's a lot to read in here, actually. Look at all that content.
Oh boy, here we go. What are you going to say about a broken, tossed-away mug that you dug out of the garbage?
This mug is an example of prejudice. I'm going to use it as an example of what not to do. I'm going to push this into the face of every merchant I find and tell them, is this your inane ideology? I'm going to virtue signal the fuck out of all of you. The mug will be useful. By denouncing it, I can earn political capital to mask my badass hustling, i.e. fraud and embezzlement. The mug didn't just belong in the trash. It was just a funny mug. Can't anyone laugh anymore? Ooh, I remember when these comedians used to be funny kind of logic. Okay. I do like that one the best.
But it was in the trash. Why not just call it out when you see it? Or do some volunteering work. Just finish your case, detective.
Yeah. Also kind of virtue signally, I guess, but like you could just take that as him thinking about it internally. Let's take a quick look at this.
An intricate web of blue lines stretches across the torso of the hanged man, from the right shoulder to the solar plexus. Each time the lines intersect, a small white star is formed in their crossing. Hundreds of fading asterisks riddle his skin. Their concentration is highest around his heart. It still kind of looks like a map of the stars in the night sky, but something's not right.
Who are you?
Gone.
Good response. What is the meaning of this tattoo?
For you to discover. You've gotten as far as you will without assistance. Someone who knows about history could tell you.
Someone who knows about history. Other than Lena, I can't think of anyone else who might know about history. +1 composure, +1 esprit de corps. So much to do already. I would love to have a gun, though. Yeah, keep that on. Do I turn it off from here? Interesting. So I can't actually... forget any of these. You need to spend a skill to forget one of those? Okay. How long would the advanced race theory take? 1 hour and 40 minutes. -1 to drama, fooled by the absurdity. Alright, well, I can't even think about critical race theory even if I tried. Alright, let's get this autopsy over with, and then we're gonna go into Kuno's shack and see if we can sneak into the docks.
The rotting man lies on his side with his eyes looking straight through you. The belt is still around his neck, His body is supine and open to intrusion by autopsy. The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
It's too bad. I could have tried that again, I guess, but not anymore. And we already kind of determined through the quest to try and get his boots. We don't want to try and remove them while Kim is around. But first, what exactly is a field autopsy?
Come on, officer. You know what a field autopsy is. You've done 100 of them.
What you do know is, at 18.9 kilometers, the dormant shield volcano, Corpus Mundi, is the world's highest summit, and the failure of the 38 single, Epui Descent, to crack the top 20 was the death knell of disco. But what a field autopsy is, you have no idea.
Thank you, Encyclopedia, for filling my head with jargon. Why don't you know? What use are you? Do you have another pair of latex gloves? Yeah, like, that's too rude.
Unfortunately, no.
I have gardening gloves. Maybe they're enough?
They are better than nothing. Tell you what, I perform the anatomical side of things while you will take notes.
We just fill this in, right? Show him the red field autopsy report form in your ledger.
That's right.
Cool. Open your ledger and complete the field autopsy.
The dead man stares in silence as you crack open the ledger. The bright red paper is covered in boxes and lists, describing the condition of his skin and organs in 3 parts.
I'm also going to listen to my electrochemistry and crack open this here drink. Every good officer needs a drink while he's looking at a dead body and poking it with a stick. Latex gloves in this case.
Above those, an 11-field info form needs filling out first. It begins with,
Let's jump ahead to the 3-part summary. Let's pause this autopsy. Begin. 1. Assistant.
That's you.
Right, yep, I'm sticking with it. For now, like, until we conclude that his name is Harry. My name is Raphael Ambrosius Cousteau.
the corpse is indifferent to your scribblings, just lies there. The next box says,
Coroner's case number.
KK57-0803.0815.
Performing the autopsy at 6 p.m., roughly.
that's because he doesn't want to bring up the messy question of your initials.
Rack? Oh well.
Next,
Name,
NA. Next,
date of birth,
NA.
age,
Roughly 50.
Try 40. The damage is so extensive, it's better to err on the young side.
yeah, I'm gonna write 42. It's the meaning of life.
He nods.
Race,
Mondial.
Fair to olive-skinned, from the Isola of Mundi. This is as vague as it gets. You might as well say whitish.
write it down.
The pudgy mess of curdled meat looks neither mondial nor anything other.
Sex,
Fucky, fucky!
little monster exclaims energy. No, not that kind of sex, although in my head I was thinking that same dirty joke. I guess I am as bad as these kids.
Male.
Pigs can have sex.
Right, fucky. Our pig's gonna have sex. No, we're not writing those.
Nor does he look male, with his pregnant belly and indistinguishable face.
Date of death,
We're still going with March 4th, 51.
Righto, 40351.
What else? 9. Body identified by is non-applicable. 10. Case number is the same as the coroner's case.
KK 57 0503 0815 listens motionless with the cargo belt still around his neck. Only one box remains.
Evidence of treatment.
None. At least not after the initial examination.
What exactly is treatment anyway? I agree, lividity pointed to lynching. I'm not sure, I didn't get the foot... Didn't the footprints look like he was carried over? Agreed, no treatment. Yeah, do remember that.
They'd have to have incapacitated and carried him over. This man was more than a match for untrained dogwalkers.
Places his hand on the dead man's chest as if in preparation.
Your central nervous system recognizes this gesture. It's the stations of the breath. Ecclesiastic, religious in nature, a holdout from pre-Delorian burial rites. It takes him 2 seconds to perform. Then, somewhere in Jamrock North, a small wood shed behind Rosencrantz Row, Lieutenant Nick Feuerbach puts his hand to the chest of a small corpse, no larger than a monkey. It's raining outside, light drizzle. There is darkness in the shed.
So, my esprit de corps is picking up another lieutenant on the other side of Revachol doing the same thing?
Elsewhere yet, an obese female sits in a wicker chair, her silhouette bull-like against the window. Outside, Grand Coudon. The day is turning dim for Sergeant Mac Dawson. Hand extended, he approaches to make sure she is dead more than anything else. And so, all across Jamrock, Coal City, GRIH, 42 deceased persons found today, 42 stations of breath.
We should start the post-mortem.
Turn
The
page.
corpse cannot feel Kim's hand on his chest. It no longer meaningfully interacts with its surroundings. A thicket of boxes and lists on red copier paper tries to answer why.
External examination. Summary.
Clothes. The deceased wears armored boots and white briefs. The make of the briefs is Babrodine, I think. Let's see.
Turns the body onto its side and checks the underwear label.
See, it's happening.
Babrodine. Inexpensive. Size M. Color white.
Oh, I doubt they're white anymore.
The disappointment is palpable. The red-haired thing was expecting something more lurid.
The rest of the clothes have been removed post-mortem by scavengers in order to get to the victim's ceramic armor. Officers are in search of the missing pieces. Removal of the boots is left for processing.
It would be clever of you to omit the boots altogether, sire. If you are to keep them for yourself, as you ought to, you have deserved them more than anyone else.
Yep, I will omit the boots.
The boot has a serial number. It's E50.100.100. The lines between the plates are in the shape of the alphanumerical. The number is purposefully concealed by the design. Tattoos.
Stands up, feet planted on either side of the body.
The upper torso is covered in a single, continuous tattoo, resembling a map of the night sky. It reaches from the right shoulder to the heart. The ink is blue and white. The assistant has a color photograph of the markings, to be added to the case files as document A1. The photo is taken on the scene, using a Trigat Mini. The
Write it down.
deceased has a belt for airlifting cargo around his neck, tied with a hangman's knot. Color yellow. Length 3 meters. There is a buckle on the other end. Well nourished, athletically built, measuring 1.8 meters. Generally consistent with age 42. Preservation is good. Ambient temperature below freezing.
Interesting.
Body hair is light brown, Distribution is consistent with age. The deceased had male pattern baldness. Hair is combed back, short.
Touch the corpse's hair before moving on. Write it down. Short, light brown, male pattern baldness.
Lividity is consistent with hanging. The head is congested. Contusions are present on the head, chest, and thighs. Consistent with stones thrown post-mortem. Low velocity.
Fucking low velocity? You think Kuno doesn't know what you're talking about? Velocity was fucking max.
Ugh, kid.
Talking shit about Kuno's velocity.
In addition, there are bite marks on the face, scalp, and chest. Consistent with predation.
Write down, put a meant for high velocity. No. Sorry, Kuno.
Ligature mark.
The lieutenant produces a small folding knife. With the other hand pulling on the belt, he starts cutting into the polyester. The stench is horrid. After a while, it's obvious the material cannot be cut.
The steel wiring. There's too much of it. We need to remove the belt so we can get to the ligature mark.
You got just the right tool for that. The chain cutters.
Oh yeah, I'm prepared. Chain cutters. Good thing we got these chain cutters.
Always good to think ahead. Now,
Points to the rope squeezing the dead man's neck.
we need to cut the belt to see the ligature mark below. Carefully, with as much precision as you can.
See, my pig is gonna fuck his head off.
No, he ain't. Your pig's a boring fuck.
Physical instrument cut the belt off. Oh. Look for a good cut. Spot to cut.
The belt is equally tight around the whole circumference of his neck, swelling over the edges like white bread rising from the east.
Oh dear. There's nothing I can do to up physical instrument, is there? No. Oh well. Drink for luck.
You jam the cutters right
Fuck.
under the knot. That seems like a smart idea. Yeah, somewhere there. Already they're buried deep in the man's flesh. Then you rotate them to get a better hold. Then
Fuckity fuck.
the lieutenant looks by, somewhat worried as you summon power words to your aid.
Sure, let's cut a bit more.
Yeah, fuck him. Fuck that buggery. Corpse fucking time.
Told you my pig
Oh,
was
boy.
hardcore.
I should have a go first. I think I have a strategy.
Let him work. You do it.
He sinks the cutters into the knot, preparing to perform the cuts, with his elbow to his knee for precision. Snap. The knot is slashed.
Good.
Another cut and the belt falls apart like a flower bouquet, revealing the dead man's neck and the dark red ligature mark around it.
Here.
He hands chain cutters back and then kneels closer to the body, running his finger along the dark red groove until he comes to a gap.
The rope rises to a point, leaving a gap in the ligature mark. The suspension point is in the back of the neck, on the nape.
Huh.
Hemorrhaging is observed on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. The mark is well pronounced, consistent with a drop from 1 or 1.5 meters. Chest is intact, normal contour. Abdomen is protuberant, pelvis intact, genitalia.
Pulls down the man's underpants.
No, it's gonna happen, see.
I fucking knew it.
Genitalia is male and unremarkable. No evidence of injury.
Inspect the genitals.
The dead man's penis is average sized, congested from the downward collection of blood. The testicles are uneven in length, hanging underneath. The genitalia is greenish. Marbling is present around the crotch.
Back is symmetrical and intact. Upper and lower extremities are intact, but asymmetrical. There are combat injuries on the right hand, thigh, and hip. In addition, I see smaller, residual scars, too numerous to count, covering about 30% of his skin.
From wounds sustained over 2, maybe more decades, dispersal and accumulation indicates long and active combat duty.
Scarring is extensive, way more than a law official's.
We have a real museum here. Battles, wars.
Write it down.
Last item, hands.
Takes the man's hands in his and expects it, then moves on to the other hand.
Hands are clean. No sign of a recent struggle.
Were we expecting any?
I was. Maybe I'm just not seeing them. Honestly, this stench is making it hard for me to think at the moment. Ooh. That's all for the external. Well done. What next?
Internal.
Central nervous system. I have nothing. Do you have anything on this man's central nervous system?
Of course, there is a moral to be drawn from it. A moral to this story.
If I may add, the moral of this story.
What would that be?
He looks at you inquisitively.
The dead man looks, too, with barely contained excitement to hear the moral of his story.
The brain is very vulnerable to compromises in its blood supply.
I think that may well be the moral of every story, officer.
I'll just write down not applicable.
Good. Musculoskeletal. Purge fluid is coming from the mouth. Not injury related. Eyes and tongue protuberant. Hyoid bone. Let's see.
With his eyes almost closed, the lieutenant puts his hand on the dead man's throat and begins to massage it, gently. A rotting smell erupts from the mouth. Purge fluid runs down his lips, black and viscous.
You.
Yeah, jack that fucker off!
From the throat? They have shitty sex ed in this place.
The hyoid bone is fractured. The rest of the musculoskeletal system is intact. Unremarkable. Respiratory system.
Back hunched as if in prayer, he begins to pry open the dead man's jaws. He stops to exert more force. Both hands are used.
Oral cavity shows no lesions. The victim has received dental implants, possibly after a combat wound. Mouth swollen. Hemorrhaging present in mucosa of the lips and mouth.
No scream, no sigh of relief rises from the darkness inside. It's humid there. Sickly sweet air, unlike anything living. You feel like you're about to throw up again, straight in that mouth of his.
Ew. Deeper inside.
It's hard. Once more, you taste stomach acid in the back of your throat. A contraction. Your throat pumps a little something from your stomach and into your mouth. You're forced to swallow, just to keep looking. Inside, you see darkness. Just a mess of meat and darkness. Mute silence as always.
Hemorrhaging present in mucus.
Lieutenant repeats impatiently. He lets go of the jaws and the mouth snaps shut before you.
Hepatobiliary. NA.
He wipes his brow. Why, don't we have anything?
Are you a hepatobiliary expert?
He looks at the corpse's stomach with a mixture of tiredness and disgust. I don't think so.
Neither am I.
And that's it?
That's it.
Okay.
Same for toxicology and serology. NA.
Both?
Unless you have untapped reservoirs of knowledge there.
The completionist in me wonders if there's something we could still do.
Like a toxicology screening? At this stage, I doubt processing will find anything, even if he was brimming with cocaine. But still, you should add a request.
Right, NA, add toxicology requested.
Cardiovascular. The body exhibits heavy lividity. Blood has gathered in the hands, feet, and neck. Hypostasis is visually consistent with the hanging. Gastrointestinal.
He breathes a sigh of approaching relief. This is the last field on the list. He looks around to the ground, the pool of feces there.
Digested semi-solid food in stomach. Voila.
He touches the corpse's bloated lower abdomen briefly. Write it down and keep the voila.
What's next on the list?
Description of injuries.
Let's see. We have bite marks, contusions on the head and chest, and a ligature mark encircling the neck. You'll need 3 fields. Leave a 4th one too.
What about the injuries that we have inflicted?
Oh, so we inflicted them?
Okay, I have inflicted.
Okay, so there's an incision on the thorax from a chain cutter. I wouldn't mention it. Better not to muddy the waters.
I agree. Waters are muddy enough. But isn't that sloppy?
Be pedantic if you like, it doesn't matter. No one else is going to investigate this man's murder. And if they do, such details would only confuse them.
See? These pigs are fucking corrupt.
Boy nods approvingly.
Why don't you fuck him if you love him so much?
Now, injuries.
Bite
Head,
marks.
chest and scalp bite mark injuries. Predation by birds has caused damage to the body. Odontologist does not need to be consulted. And your opinion, officer?
Beneath the description, there are 2 boxes waiting to be ticked. Opinion, fatal injury. Non-fatal, post-mortem.
Agreed. Next injury?
Contusions.
So, the scalp bleeds from a post-mortem head injury, a stone. The injury does not have the rim of an early inflammatory response. The perpetrator on the scene has confessed to causing it post-mortem.
At maximum velocity, fucko!
Has confessed to causing it at maximum velocity.
Coagulated blood sticks to his scalp and chest, where the countless stones have hit the dead man. Beneath the description of injury, 2 boxes.
Right.
Yeah,
Next.
still post-mortem. Ligature mark.
A dark red abraded ligature mark encircling the neck, with a gap on the nape measuring, let's say, 7 centimeters. The hyoid bone is fractured, the cervical column intact. I see hemorrhaging on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. Depth of the mark, 1 centimeter. No signs of clawing on the neck.
Below the note, 2 customary boxes wait to be ticked. The man's head jerks to the side. The ring around his neck is visible.
That would be the fatal injury, I guess.
That's it. We have established cause of death. It's not much, and it leaves much to be questioned. But it's a start. Let's wrap this up. I pronounce this field autopsy over.
First, how did it go?
Well, we established probable cause of death. Some would say that's the goal of an autopsy. We also requested a toxicological screening. That was thorough. The results should arrive in a couple of weeks, if we are lucky. I will not hold my breath. We were thorough with the list of injuries too. We described them all in detail. What is there to say? Given the circumstances, it was a professional field autopsy.
Oh, what now?
I need a copy of that autopsy form. Then I will drive him to Faubourg.
Rip a copy of the autopsy from the pages.
For processing.
He looks at the dead man one more time, then at a slip of red paper in his hand, then at the corpse again.
You tilt your head, also looking at the corpse. I'm sure we didn't get everything. There's always something.
Yeah, let's try it again.
I'm gone.
Where have you gone?
Into the wild pale yonder.
Yeah, well, where is that?
In the past. Way out in the west.
Can I see you? I can see you're gone, but who are you?
I'm a joke. Look at me.
There's nothing funny about you now. You are now, but who were you when you were alive?
A killer. A motherfucker. And a killer.
Huh.
Go ahead, Copper.
What is happening?
What do you mean?
I'm talking to you. A corpse that we just performed an autopsy on. That's strange.
Power of your
Black frothy liquid starts bubbling on his lips.
imagination.
Imagination.
Yeah, man! Don't be crazy! Inanimate objects and dead people can't really talk to you. Your wild imagination is doing this. Ask some more of those questions you love so much.
Sure, will do, Necktie.
He loves those.
Why do I love questions so much?
Because you're a copperoonie. Look at all of them go. Do you want more questions?
Give me a comical amount of questions.
Coming right up. Copperoonie, Rooney. This is getting upbeat now.
Yes, it is. I will have a drink to the dead man that I'm talking to. Is my name Rooney?
Fuck no. You're no Rooney.
Yeah, I'm no Mickey Rooney, that's for sure. Of course not. The name is Raphael Ambrosius Cousteau.
Listen to yourself. You're not a Raphael anything. You're probably just Harry or something. That's right. Harry.
And the letter we found called us Harry, so I feel I've been getting a lot of Harry lately.
You might be onto something there.
Why do I feel like I've forgotten something terrible?
Because you have.
Well, who killed you?
Love did me in, Brother Copo. It was love all along.
Which is it that killed you then? Love or communism?
Huh?
You said love killed you, but when you fell down, you said it was communism.
You're misquoting me, Rooney. I said communism killed me. Love did me in.
I see.
You really need to learn the difference, buddy. This is embarrassing.
Can you ask me a question?
Sure, Lobo. I can ask you a question. Why are you doing this?
What?
Looking at my face, motionless. Looking into my eyes. Standing here. Why are you investigating my murder?
Don't have anything else to do. This is the case is all I have, because he told me to. Maybe this will lead to something? Something indescribable. Unforeseen. Miraculous? Yeah, I like that one best.
The clown lips on the corpse appear to smile. Something is on its way. Something hidden. It's coming. A miracle from the northwest, and it's almost here. You can feel it in the air, on your hands. The cold spring air smoothing them over.
Interesting. Well, you know what, corpse? I hate you. You stink. And overall, you're pretty boring.
Do I remind you of someone?
A child born with Muller's disease, harlequinism, grown up miraculously.
Baby affected with harlequinism.
You sure we got out of that one? Coppellini. Come back later, Corpo. Amuse yourself with my frank manners and my memento mori features. If possible, also, see me in your dreams.
That was kind of creepy. You can come back and look into this face anytime you want. Humor yourself with my harlequin features. Ask me your little questions, refreshen your memory, create associations, remind you of yourself, of your morality. Capolopo. Yeah, you're not going anywhere yet, Kim. There's more?
Shoot, Looney Rooney.
Nope.
Come back later, Corpo. Amuse yourself with my frank manners and my memento mori features.
I don't know
if possible,
upping the perception will
also,
help much.
see me in your dreams.
Ah. And this little guy gets smaller and smaller as you rise above the dollhouse world. You see him out in the snow, on the street, in the shop on the corner, and finally in a matchbox house, sitting by the window. White flowers on the windowsill. You can smell them from up here. It's awful. A white morning. A modern death. Divorce, or something similar. All you can do is put distance between you and him. Make him smaller. Make him less you. 20% zoom out distance. All motoric skills are raised by 1 cap. Interesting. Could. Who said that? Anyway. You know what? Let's see. What does that do?
The man is decomposing visibly now. Every hour, he looks less like a creature and more like a pile of intestines. The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
Yeah, that barely did anything. But let's see.
You run your hands over the victim's cold body, his limbs, his torso with its swollen organs. Maybe you should be more thorough. The genitals in his breeches continue to be unnoteworthy. You see the penis of a dead man. If you've seen it once, you've already got the picture.
Can't get enough of that dick.
Do you think we missed something?
You can't shake the feeling that there are more secrets concealed in the flesh before you.
I've got a gut feeling that there's more to this corpse.
Okay, well, we are in livor mortis here. He is disintegrating. We need to refrigerate the body if we want to conduct another examination, and we need to do it fast.
Can't he just hang out here for a while longer? Okay, where do we find a fridge for this body?
It would have to be industrial in size. Let's start by asking Gart at the Whirling in Rags. and the food store down at the gates. If they don't know, but only if all else fails.
I
What
see.
are you looking at, Beano, man? You want a piece of the Kuno? Wanna get fucked?
Only if all else fails.
Need to take another look at the body first.
Hurry. This is one task we cannot sideline. With every hour, whatever we are looking for will become harder to find.
Let's bag him and take him away. Alright, well, to Gart first. Once you're done with it, send the corpse to processing. Lieutenant Kitsuragi will take care of it. Check twice to see whether you're done with all corpse-related tasks. After you've sent the body away, you can't take it back. Fridge the victim's body. I can try that one again. Whoa, this place is a lot more full now.
Hello again, sweetie.
No, nothing. Do. Inside you catch a glimpse of Union paraphernalia, a strike poster, and some red pennants. Photos of men in overalls and Union placards. Ooh, yes please. Alright, you.
Can I help you?
Seem to be in need of a fridge.
Yes, yes. For the dead body. You want to put a dead corpse into my fridge, right?
Yep.
Correct it.
No, we want to put a very important dead body in your fridge.
I don't care. You're not putting a dead body into my fridge.
Why?
Because this is a culinary establishment, not a morgue. I can't believe you even asked me.
It would only be for...
Lieutenant, you too? You're asking too? No. The answer is no. I will not turn this place into some kind of macabre circus.
Let's go talk to the frit clerk.
So about that money I owe you, because it's getting 2 hours to your payment deadline, and I've got $250.
Yes. Have you got it?
No.
Like what? I was rarely enjoying talking about the money you owe me.
Alright, well, let's go try this Freet store then. Because Gart was definitely no help. Alright, here we are. Pass time by a book. Reading passes time quickly. Maybe if the books raise my skill points, that I might do it then. Yellow roses. Dozens of them. Tulips, too. Melancholy pop song plays away on the radio.
You see several packaged raincoats fill a low shelf beneath a display of croissants and juice bottles. The raincoats are transparent, except for the big Fritta slogan on the back.
Yeah, don't need any of those.
Welcome to Frit. Feel free to look around or something. Everything is out on the shelves.
She returns to her magazine. Wow, what a professional customer service attitude there.
What's that magazine she's reading?
Before we go on, what is this Frit?
I don't know. Frit?
And what is Frit?
A 7 to 11 grocery store.
Why is it written with 3 T's?
I think they think that the extra T makes it funkier. It doesn't.
The story goes that normal Fritta with 2 T's, a men's workwear shop in Vredefort, was already taken. So when Fritta Retail Inc. grew into a multinational corporation, they had to add an extra letter to avoid trademark infringement.
Nah. What magazine are you reading?
You mean this?
She looks cover boasting a colorful photo of 2 girls kissing.
This is Pop Stars. It's got, like, famous people in it. It's not for sale.
Looks like it also has something called Police de la Mode, featured on page 34. This speaks to you.
Forget all about that. What is this fashion police feature?
It's where they rate different outfits famous people wear. It's kind of funny. They're kind of mean. It's about who's the most stylish.
So who's the numero uno guy in there right now? And does he look like this? Point at yourself. Point at her hat. Bet your hat would take the prize. So who's the most stylish? Can't be anyone from here. I don't know, I like that answer. And she'll probably like it too, given how much she sounds like she hates this job.
No. I don't like it. I hate it.
We are not the fashion police. We're the real police.
Let's proceed. I have some questions for you.
Okay. I'm not really supposed to be chatting to anyone, but...
Does Freed have a warehouse in the back of Whirling and Rags?
A warehouse? I don't know. Maybe. I don't really care what Frit does.
Come on, give me something to work with here. This is important.
She scrunches up her face into an expression of consummate adolescent skepticism.
Fine. Frit doesn't have a warehouse. Just a little back room here. Okay?
She turns back to her magazine without waiting for you to respond. Do you have a fridge?
Mm-hmm. Right behind you.
You're right. This is a fridge. Wicked. I need to store a corpse in there.
You're joking, right?
Mess with the fridge with your fingers and one eye closed. Never mind. Would never fit. No, I'm not joking. I need to store a corpse of the hanged man in your fridge.
Okay. It wouldn't even fit, you know.
Now that I'm looking at it, maybe a glass-doored fridge in a public grocery store isn't the best option for storing a corpse.
It would have been so beautiful. Oh, God. what? I like that sense of humor.
Yeah, I don't know.
Can you tell me anything about this reality we're in?
Reality? You mean what reality? Economic reality or...
She is like a student unexpectedly called upon by a teacher. Can she answer the classroom question?
No, I mean physical reality. But yeah, sure, tell me about the economic reality,
I don't
student.
really know anything. I mean, I'm 15.
15 is an excellent time to learn about the economic reality. Oh.
Yeah, that's why I'm working my arse off in frit. So I guess, like, that's economic.
I guess so, but what about the physical reality then?
I don't know. What about it?
The coalition, what's that? Someone told me there is one?
Our government? Or do you mean something else? Sorry, I really need to finish this article.
Alright. Dumb 15-year-old doesn't know anything. Alrighty, 45
The tear machine stands in the corner. A sign says, 1 bottle equals 10 cents.
Yeah, don't need that. I want those fucking boots. Do you know where we
raining
can
again.
put a fridge in?
It was clear just an hour ago.
Also, we may as well put that back up. To Cape Side Apartments, Martinez Pier. To Roundabout North. Ad reads, broken window, Tibbs has windows.
This coin-operated viewer is facing southwest. Its coin slot is full of fossilized bubblegum, rendering the machine permanently inaccessible.
Poor little viewer.
The metal feels cold and wet under your palm. It looks unhygienic.
Vandalism.
Probably some kids.
A thick layer of graffito covers the lenses. You spell out the word Onuk written on the other side, with N and C scribbled backwards. Under the graffito, a sea of blues and greys appear. Behind the water lies a coast studded with concrete and reeds. On it, a church on stilts, lanky weather-worn wooden planks, an X-shaped cross topping its tower. You know this to be the star of Pericarnassus, or the Cairo, the central symbol of the Pericarnassian church, a star, a great moral height to be strived towards. The church looks old and weather-worn. There are no lights in the windows. Around the large wooden building, you see chunks of sea ice gathered on the beach, and a small tent set up on the ice.
Neat. If you had a bag in your hand, perhaps you could collect these bottles and sell them.
This coin-operated viewer is facing south. The instruction manual says to insert 25 centimes and pull the handle. while looking inside.
No.
Then use the focus knob to zoom in if necessary.
Coin operator viewer is banged up and inoperable. This thing down there. You hear the distant squall of seabirds. Splatter of bullet holes lines the walls. Ooh. Things I've seen and said. Some great tectonic forces cracked the pavement like an eggshell.
The worn and beaten wooden planks of the bench do not look overly comforting.
We can sit on benches after we've solved the murder. Let's go.
You can revisit the bench if you ever need to pass the time when Lieutenant Kitsuragi is gone.
Good to know. What's this? An ancient fountain does not pump water anymore. There is a tree in it. At this point, I'm just like faffing about. Tire tracks heading onto the roof. The slush and rain has almost washed them off. Sewer grate, a gateway to the river of filth. Ah, I see. Water lock out of order until Wednesday, 7:15 a.m. Fingerless gloves. Roy's Pawn Shop. Fast cash for faster times. Maybe my gun or my badge is in here. Some kind of machine. An antique cash register? Mostly military wear, a few more eccentric fashions thrown in.
A typical Martinez street light sits among assorted floor and table lamps.
On your gaze. Let your gaze run over the street light. Is that a street light? Where'd you get this? How much for the street light? There's nothing else you need to know about the light.
The light pole has been carefully cut, and the wiring has been redone and attached to a standard indoor plug. The light buzzes faintly, but persistently. This would make quite a statement in your living room.
It was brought to me to be altered.
We are not here to investigate the theft of city property.
He leans in so the pawnbroker doesn't hear him.
You have to admit it's rather clever what he's done with it.
Pauses, studying the light. Bust for woman. The plaque simply says DEI. In the dark, a film projector is whirring away.
You see rows of toy soldiers guarding the rest of the trinkets displayed on the table. Some on horseback, others in rags, others yet in bright blue uniforms. All are stern and unyielding in their duty. Try to find something pretty and cool here, then use it to win her back.
win her back?
Yes. Buy something nice. A figurine.
Suspect the blue uniforms. He does have a thing for blue.
They're not all blue. These figurines also wear gold coats and caps, complemented by orange trousers. They are variously posed, wielding swords and rifles with bayonets.
Are these royalist soldiers?
Which ones? Ah, those. Yes, they are. I find the paint job a bit gaudy, but children like the bright colours indiscriminately.
Interfacing. Dig up a truly cool figurine in the box under the table.
Everything you pick out seems faded, chipped, and sad somehow. Most of them are just broken toys.
Now fully out of healing.
The boomboxes on the shelf look well-loved and well-traveled. Chipped, dented, they stare at you with the unblinking eyes of their tape reels. One especially catches your eye. Deep gold and amber plastic with a big old handle on top. A classic boombox that says Stereo 8 approved.
Cool.
This is you. Golden orange. A sunset suite. Just make sure it works before you buy it.
Is the Harman Welshie W2, made in Vespa, designed in Seoul, plays all reel-to-reel formats, 2mm, 8mm, 12mm. It's even got a little radio in there. It'll set you back 12 real.
Are you sure this is all in working order?
Absolutely. I've tested each one myself with recordings of speech, found sounds and music from a variety of genres, even though I don't really like music.
Well, then you're boring. But, do you have my gun?
It's not often that I see officers from the RCM in my pawn shop. What can I do for you?
His courtesy is not insincere, but he prefers being alone with his projector, just watching the movement of light across the walls of the shop.
Now that the RCM is here, tell me, have you had any trouble lately?
I haven't had any problems myself, though some of my customers have complained about inconsistent law enforcement.
Who are your customers usually?
All kinds of people come through here. Locals, travelers, people looking for a deal, people looking for a keepsake, people who are terminally bored. As you can see, I have a wide selection of goods for everyone to choose from.
Quite the collection indeed. Typical vacuous consumerist object. Honestly, I feel some of your selections are, press your finger to your lips, more tasteful than others. This business plan is all over the place. You should specialize, zoom in, recapitalize. I think he's got some cool stuff here.
It keeps me entertained.
Something like sell. Is Roy high? And if yes, what's he on? I'll save that. By the way, do you happen to have any guns like the ones carried by cops?
Someone else came here earlier today asking the same question. I promptly sold her the gun you pawned a couple days back.
The lieutenant shifts from one foot to another, alert.
Wait, I sold my gun?
You were adamant about getting rid of it, officer. Said you were undeserving of a service weapon of the Revachol Citizens Militia. And I don't like keeping guns around the shop for long. Off the charts photon emissions. the unhealthy kind.
Was the buyer a policeman too?
She didn't seem like a policeman, although she kept referring to herself as a pig, which was odd. I found her interest in the gun a bit obsessive, but I was just happy to get rid of it, and of her. Truth be told, she was terrifying.
Right, so let me get this right. You sold your sidearm, issued by the citizens' militia, and now a civilian is running around the streets of Martinez with it?
It's only one explanation. She must be one of my rabid fans. Maybe she's a vigilante, wants to prove that she can do the jobs better than we can. I don't like it either. What if she intends to commit a crime and blame it on the citizens' militia? I'm sorry I sold my gun. Maybe she's a vigilante, who knows?
It's possible in these parts of town. We ought to find her and discourage her from taking justice into her own hands.
Any idea where I can find this buyer?
My apologies, officer, but I have no idea where she was coming from or where she went.
A needle in a haystack. There is nothing you can do about it now. You'll just have to hope you luck upon her somehow.
Well, at least I know how I lost my sidearm now. Let's talk about something else. You might be able to aid our investigation.
I doubt it, but I can try and answer any questions you may have.
Do you know anything about the Wild Pines representative that's in town?
Can't say I'm a huge admirer of Wild Pines, and I can't say I trust any silver-tongued spokesperson of theirs. Fortunately, I have no reason to get involved.
Wait, what do you have against Wild Pines?
What should I have for it?
Have you met the Wild Pines rep?
No, just people like that make everyone else see the world somewhat askew, at an angle that is convenient for them. Now, you have more questions, or are we?
Ever had any dealings with the union boss?
He's been by the shop a couple of times.
There was something awfully deliberate about that laziness.
Why do I feel like you don't want to talk about it?
They weren't the most pleasant interactions. Small town bigwigs always want everyone to play a part in the play they're staging. But I bowed out at some point. I prefer to watch from afar while the bigwigs come and go.
And did he discuss any union business with you?
He tried. Wanted to come to some mutually beneficial agreement around my dealings with the dock workers. I politely declined to hear him out.
So you don't know what kind of arrangements he was talking about?
The lieutenant studies the pawnbroker suspiciously.
As I said, I refused to talk to him. That's why he came back a second time. That's also why he hasn't come back a third.
Did he buy anything?
He purchased a remarkably garish paperweight the first time he was here. Nothing the second.
He nods reluctantly.
Do you know anything about the recent hanging?
I do my best to keep my distance from all manner of butchery. Bad for business. Bad for everyone.
That makes sense.
He doesn't know anything. The pawnbroker's gaze is already fixed on the dancing colors.
I have other business to take care of now. Well, at least we figured out what happened with our gun. That's something. Now that we know that, it's almost 8 o'clock too. I'm gonna make a try for them. +1 electrochemistry, cigarette-stained fingertips, gasoline-stained fingerless gloves, and navy blue. They've been worn threadbare, but being made of wool still provides some warmth and comfort. And +1 to my electrochemistry, so sure, why not? Alright, let's save again, because I'm actually going to try and take those boots with the lieutenant around.
The man is decomposing. The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
I thought we decided to leave it to processing. Let's not turn this into some kind of circus. I thought we decided to leave it to processing. Let's not turn this into...
Okay. So how do we get in there? That's like above the fruit shop, actually. Keep looking, maybe someone else knows something. 2 moralist, 2 ultra-liberal, 3 communist. Huh. There's a way up to the Whirling's roof? Wondering where else I could go. Whoa, what's... That wasn't available before.
A lorry stuck in the traffic jam. This big, heavy Grad-made machine is well kept for such an old machine. The windows are clear. They've been recently washed. You can see a lorryman's cabin with personal belongings, stickers, insignia. The driver has adorned his space with a substantial collection of peculiar paraphernalia. Proclamations about honor, strength, and purity are glued to various panels. A large metal pendant hangs from the rear view mirror. The pendant features a sun crown with wavy rays.
What about the back seat?
The back end of the cabin has a small perch to sleep, large ashtrays. There are several suns and wheels sewn into the curtains. A book with ragged edges catches your notice. The front cover features a large, muscular man. The title reads, Man from Eamdal in the lost city of the Pygmies.
Racist nationalist paraphernalia. Not unusual in this part of town. This is our guy.
Nods towards the racist lorry driver. You think this lorry belongs to our tough guy?
Likely, yes. This guy's proud of who he is. Drapes it all over his machine.
60 experience already, huh? Whoa. Ooh, another... Yes, please. What is that? White tank top. +1 physical instrument. Work it! Tank top, gym vest, reeking of sweat. The sleeveless shirt is the best choice if you're not afraid to show off your masculine upper body. That is, your hairy chest. Yeah, she won't tell me anything. I already read that. I already talked to him. I already talked to her. Ooh, what's that? $6.56. Wow. Where else can we...
This Post Lavantorie mail collection box has been heavily vandalized with graffito. A closer inspection reveals 2 bullet holes in the front. A faint sticker on the side reads, RCM Emergencies Desk number 8102, with a slogan, Mankind, be vigilant.
Good mail delivery box.
The box seems happy. Eat shit, pig, fucked by the coon, and Saint G with a crown have been scribbled on it. Jenny is a whore, and best set mailbox also.
Mail collection box, you should man the fuck up. Been there. Post l'aventurier. Mail collection box. Been there.
The mail collection box seems cathartic.
Aww.
Thankfully, then, so do you. You shudder. Then you swallow.
Weird.
You see a set of tire tracks in the brown slush that covers the plaza mosaic.
Still locked, huh? Kitsuragi's gonna go to bed at 9. And I should maybe try and hang on until then. What?
The sight of bullet holes stirs something in you, making you forget the lieutenant's surname. The faded marks are too degraded to draw any forensic conclusions. Just chips in the sandstone. They look pretty ancient.
Where?
Point to the chips in the walls. Someone's been shot. We're cops. We should solve it. Nothing. Forget about it. Because, yeah, they are rather old, right? Like...
There? Those are old.
Oh, you mean like from the Revolution?
Yes, the one that happened half a century ago. Those bullets were fired during the Revolution and do not warrant an investigation by officers of civil law.
Okay. Can you tell me about this revolution?
Not much. I don't have a fresh perspective on it. Shall we go?
Sure. It's up this way. Lonely cormorant surveys the sea, indifferent to your approach.
This is a wall on the side of an apartment building.
Huh.
Are you trying to sneak up on me? come to slit my throat in my sleep.
Apparently, she doesn't like people standing behind her back.
Pig's come to take me out, trying to snuff me out.
Are you sleeping right now? You little bitch.
Don't get fucking clever with me, pig. You think you're so clever.
Right. Garden hose. This won't be of any use until the snow melts. Chairs and tables eaten by rain and rot. Balcony with a view to the yard and the hanging. Another spattering of bullet holes in the wall. These barrels are half full of rainwater. That smoker up there could be a witness. Talk to him. Which one? Is that a raincoat up there? The one up there. Just closed door, but you look at it suspiciously. Ooh, good. I needed one of those. Oh, what's that? Ooh.
There must be another way into the building.
You see a young man on a balcony nursing a cigarette. His eyes have been following you for a while.
Not looking for any trouble, officer.
He says in a quiet voice. Despite the cold, his shirt hangs unbuttoned on his frame. Why are you whispering? It sounds like you're already in trouble. No trouble from me. Just want to know what's going on here. Too late, young man. Trouble's found you.
I don't want to be seen talking to the gendarmerie if that's okay. I just want to finish my cigarette.
Don't let him go. This could be your witness. The balcony has a great view of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Actually, the gendarmerie really needs to talk to you.
Is it really that important?
Yes, just
like a
shirt.
nervous cat. He keeps stealing looks at the neighboring windows.
All right, but make it quick. Once I finish this cigarette, I have to run.
Looks like you've got a good view of the Whirling's backyard. Can you tell me anything about the hanging?
I can tell that you finally got him down. Thank you. It was quite a disturbing sight, even by Martinet's standards.
What were you doing last Sunday?
Oh. You already asked me that, didn't you?
Did you?
No, not you two. Some more muscular type.
And when did you speak to this more muscular gentleman?
The lieutenant takes out his little blue notebook and writes something down.
Last week? I don't know. Look.
Looks around the courtyard again. Snow blankets the old patio chairs and dead houseplants, and all the neighboring windows are black.
A downy blanket of white to cover up the miserable poverty of the scene.
You didn't answer the question. What were you doing last Sunday?
I had a friend over.
What kind of friend?
It was my Sunday friend.
A Sunday friend? How intriguing.
What's your friend's real name? Did he see something?
He doesn't reply, gesturing no with his cigarette. Under the dull and darkening sky, the neighboring windows stand silent.
Can you tell me your name?
My name? My name is Martin Martinez.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
That's definitely not his real name.
You're not actually called Martin Martinez, are you?
No, of course not. Could you please lower your voice?
Scans the courtyard. Silent, like the bottom of a well, every sound captured and reflected back.
No. We won't.
Takes one last drag of his cigarette before stubbing it out on the snowy balcony with a dying hiss.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I really need to get going.
You know what? We'll try it.
Time to bring out your secret charm. Tears and begging. Show him your emotional side. Throw yourself before his very feet like a dog.
Both of these are embarrassing, but yeah, sure.
No, for God's sake, I don't want you to cry.
Takes a quick step back and looks around, clearly disturbed.
Listen, I really have to go.
With the flick of his wrists, he sends the extinguished cigarette over the rail.
Good luck with the investigation.
Walks away. I feel like if I had put an extra point in suggestion, that might have worked.
He's gone.
Lieutenant puts away his notebook and turns to you. We should run after him, see where he
No
went.
point in running. Tenements like these often have multiple exits. If he doesn't want to talk to us, then he'll know how to hide himself.
Do we just give up?
He could be a witness. Him or his Sunday friend. Either way, we need to look into that muscular type who's asking about our case. There has to be a way of getting inside the building. Once we've found a way in, we can ask around for his apartment.
Let's do that then. Orange bum hat. +1 reaction speed, feeling twitchy. -1 rhetoric, bum brain. An orange beanie with a couple of big ass holes on the side. Looks like it might have been used as a mask during an armed robbery. Find a way inside the large apartment building in the north. Curtains shift just a little. Someone is watching from within.
A stone, like any other, lying in a whirl of sleet and mud. Maybe there's something under it. There's a key beneath it, rusty from the dirt.
This must be for the front door. Pity it doesn't have the apartment number on it. This building has hundreds of apartments. We'll just have to go in and see.
Well, we made it in. I guess we'll deal with Everard Claire and trying to get in to the other place later. But you know what? This actually looks like it might be a good place to take a break for now, because it is getting a little late. I do want to get myself to bed, and I will be back streaming more tomorrow. More than likely it will be more Disco Elysium, as we are now further investigating what happened with the Hanged Man and keeping on going from here. And of course, from here on out, I have no fucking clue what to expect, what's gonna happen. So this is where things really get interesting for all involved. And yeah, for everyone who tuned in to catch a little bit of this live, thank you very much. And until next time, y'all stay safe. Y'alls have a good night. Be sure to drink responsibly and don't end up like Super Cop over here. I say as I take a last swig from my drink for the night. And I'll see y'all next time. Have a good night.